What's up? This is your host, John W. Snyder. You are listening to Release Rotation. Thank you for listening. Thank you to all my listeners, all my sponsors. You guys are awesome. You're part of why I keep doing this because I know you're listening, and that excites me and makes me want to keep doing these, so I appreciate that. Let's just get right into it. Game 3 of the NBA Finals was tonight. Steph Curry had 47 points, and that was not enough to get the job done against the Toronto Raptors. They lost 123-109. Golden State is now down 2-1. So now the Raptors look like they're in the driver's seat for the most part. They played really well. Kawhi Leonard could not be stopped tonight. He did amazing. I mean, Steph, just a whole other story. But what else were they going to do? I mean, Klay Thompson's out. Kevin Durant's out. Looney's done. I don't know what else the Warriors could have done. I mean, they didn't shoot that great. It's hard, they're at home and they shoot 40% when the Raptors are shooting 52%, a little over, on the road in Oracle. I mean, Steph did everything he could. The rest of the team, not so much. But what are you going to do? No Kevin Durant. No Klay Thompson. I mean, those are your other two big scorers. And they weren't there tonight. I'm thinking that Klay Thompson plays next game. And I don't know about Kevin Durant. We might not see him again this season, it looks like. But who knows? Could surprise us. I joked, not kind of a joke, tongue-in-cheek, right? That the Warriors didn't need Kevin Durant and that he needed them more than they needed him, which still could be true. I don't know because it was a weird one to judge tonight without Klay Thompson also. I mean, they lost by 14, so maybe Klay would have been the difference. I'm not sure. Just one of those things that we don't know. But I think next game, I think if Klay is playing, I think the Warriors win that game. So we'll see what happens there. But it's a great series. I mean, it's 2-1 now, Raptors. So we've got that going. And game 4 should be a fun one. One more in Oracle before they go back to Toronto. So I really thought even without Klay Thompson tonight that the Warriors would have won. I don't know why I thought that. Maybe I shouldn't have. But I don't know. So down 2-1. I think Klay Thompson's back. I think the Warriors win game 4. We go back to Toronto tied 2-2. So we will see about that. Should be fun. Next week, the men's golf U.S. Open begins on the 13th. So a week from tomorrow at Pebble Beach. So that should be fun. We'll see if Tiger can make the cut this time. Wins the Masters, misses the cut at the PGA, and now we'll see what happens at Pebble in the U.S. Open. I've always liked the U.S. Open. Love the format, especially if it does go to a tiebreaker. You get an extra 18 holes the next day. So that's fun. Always fun. But we'll see what Tiger can do. Um, I think he makes the cut for sure, but we will see what that looks like. And so I was just looking up something real quick. I just saw that, and I thought that's why I kind of hesitated. The U.S. Open, they used to do an 18-hole playoff for the U.S. Open, and it looks like it changed this year. So I apologize for that. So this year, 2019, which is this year, next week, they're going to do a 2-hole aggregate. And then if a tie remains, the players are going to go to sudden death. So it should end the same day. I actually liked it before when you'd have an extra day of golf. It was fun, but I also understand why they're not going to do that, because it goes into a Monday, and how many fans are going to be there on Monday? Probably not many at all, and that's why they're ditching it. It's one main reason. So, good for the U.S. Open. So that tiebreaker did change. So now it's a 2-hole aggregate, and then if it's still tied, we go to sudden death, which seems better than, I guess, the way it was for fans and the like. So we get it done on Sunday if there is a tie, rather than heading into the next day. Makes sense. So the next thing, real quick, if you listen to my last podcast, I talked about Oklahoma State and how their golf team was playing for a national championship, and they won stroke play by 31 strokes. And then they go to match play. Match play is a different beast. If you've ever seen the Ryder Cup, you know that match play is different. And Oklahoma State in match play did not fare too well. Lost to Texas. And that wasn't even the championship. That was the semis before. So they didn't even make it to the championship round of match play when they were the favorites to win it. Is what it is. Still an amazing season. You can't count that against them. Still a great season. Just such a bummer. I was hoping they could go back to back, win another national championship this year. But it's Oklahoma State golf. They'll be back. They're always in the running, seems like. So that happened. Oklahoma State girls softball, women's softball, was in Oklahoma City for the World Series. And they were the lowest seed, I believe, the 13 seed. And they got knocked out. But so fun for them to be there. But we'll see what happens next year. They'll still be a great team. Still have some good players. They have an amazing coach. So just the fact they got to the World Series was pretty awesome after beating the defending champs, Florida State, the week prior to get there. So huge, amazing season also for women's softball at Oklahoma State. The championship was between UCLA and the OU Sooners, and OU were the heavy favorites in Oklahoma City. And they were the heavy favorites, and they got destroyed in the first game of the 3-game series. They played best 2 out of 3. And they just got blitzed in the first game. And then the second game, which if they had won that, it would go to a 3rd game tiebreak, but UCLA was able to pull out another win and win the national championship. So congrats to the UCLA women's softball team on winning a national championship this year. It's good for the Pac-12. Men's college baseball is still going on. We move on to the super regionals. Oklahoma State was able to get out of the regionals, so they move on to play Texas Tech this weekend. And that's going to be an interesting one because they already played a 3-game series this year, and Texas Tech swept them in Lubbock, and this is in Lubbock again. So hoping things can be different. It's playoffs, it's different. It's not regular season, but we will see what happens there with Oklahoma State baseball. But we'll see. I hope they can pull it out this year and get back to the World Series. So they're close. They squeaked it out in Oklahoma City to get there, so to the Super Regionals. They had to beat UConn after UConn beat them on Sunday. So, French Open and tennis is going on right now. I love watching tennis, especially the majors, but the time change all I see are highlights because I'm not getting up that early to watch the French Open. So, if you like tennis and you get up early, it'll be on ESPN for you. So, there you have it. That's my sports take for this week. I appreciate you listening. We'll be right back after this message. All right, we are back. So, you guys know, as I do this podcast, I talk about sports, I go to a break, and I come back and just talk about something that's on my heart or on my mind. And I guess just something I want to challenge you on, as I'm talking to you, is what is something that you've always wanted to learn? Think about it. I'm sure you've got it. Whether it's knitting or sailing or golf or basketball or the rules of American football. You know, maybe you want to learn guitar, the piano. We've all got something that we want to learn, right? There's something that you want to do that you haven't done, but we have that. There's something there, right? I don't know that I've met anyone who's like, no, there's nothing. I don't want to learn anything new. I don't want to do anything. I've never met anyone like that. Because if you really think about it, there's something you want to do. For me right now, for instance, is learning podcasting, the ins and outs, the producing, the writing, the speaking part, the figuring out the formula, and just doing it, right? That's one of my things. And for me to do it and to figure it out, I have to do it. So for me to figure out podcasting, I just had to jump into it and do it. I'm also now putting a website together because I want this podcast to have a landing page. And so now this last week, began the process of learning Squarespace. I have no clue what I'm doing. And I'm not going to lie, I get frustrated. As I'm going through it and trying to figure things out and things aren't working or it's not looking right because I have no idea what I'm doing. But I'm going to get there. I'm going to figure it out. And it's the same with the podcast and figuring out how to edit, what software to use to edit, what microphone to use. How do I record it? What do I put it on when I record it? What do I talk about? And so, that's that side of it, is figuring all of that out. And I'm having a blast doing it, that's for sure. It's not the easiest. I wish I had 40 hours a week to dedicate to it. I wish I could, but I can't right now. And so that's why I'm spending my late nights after the family's gone to bed learning something new. And so right now, for me, it's podcasting, the ins and outs of it, and now the ins and outs of Squarespace and building a website. But what is it you want to learn? Okay? you've got something. Maybe it's the banjo. You know who I'm talking to. Maybe it's just something new. Maybe it's something that you wanted to learn when you were a kid or in high school or in college, and you just decided not to for some reason. Okay, so you've got that thing, whatever it is you want to learn, right? So now my question is, why not? Why did you stop learning that, or why did you not want to learn that? Okay. Was it money? Was it time? Was it resources? Was it fear? And so think about that. You've got something you want to learn. What do you want to learn? And now think about what is holding you back from learning that. And I'm sure it's something, maybe it's not anything I named, but just my own story and what I'm going through. There were a couple of factors for me to put my passion off for such a long time. One was time, which is the worst excuse anybody can have. Whenever someone says, I don't have time, I don't have time, that's a lie. We all have time. It's just how you use it. So think about it. If there's something you want to learn and it's time that's holding you back, like it was for me, I've had to carve out late nights to do this and to learn and to figure it out. And that also means not watching Netflix, not watching movies, not playing video games. If you are really serious about learning something new, and maybe you don't care, okay? And that's fine, whatever. To each their own, right? Maybe you do just want to sit on the couch and play video games or watch TV, watch sports, or watch Netflix. Maybe you want to watch that same Friends episode for the 100th time on Netflix. That's fine. But don't make the excuse that you don't have time, is really why I'm bringing that up. Because when I was doing this and trying to figure out what I wanted to do for my creative outlet, my passion, it's like, wait, I spend time watching a show on Netflix after my family goes to bed, or I watch YouTube or play video games. And I was really serious about wanting to learn podcasting and everything, and so I had to put those things aside. It's not easy, that's for sure. And so maybe it's time for you, but that's an excuse you can't use anymore. And you know that. I'm not going to keep telling you that, but you know that time is not an excuse. It's not a good excuse. You could spend 1 hour a night working on your craft, whatever it might be. Maybe it's designing clothes. Maybe it's making handkerchiefs. Maybe it's making hats. You can spend 1 hour a night working on that and developing that skill and getting better at it. That's 7 hours a week. It's not a lot, but it's better than the 0 hours a week you were using originally. So that's the one thing. The other thing is fear for me. Because I've tried to do certain things, I've tried to make things, I've tried to create websites. I tried to do a podcast 10 years ago. I have tweets and Facebook posts about it that I can bring up. And I didn't because one of those reasons was fear. The fear of failure. And that's just something you got to get over. Because that's not going to do anything but hold you back. And so failure is going to happen. But you can either learn from it or you can just quit. And over the years, I would fail and then I would just quit. And so that's why this last year I made the promise to myself that I wasn't going to quit no matter how hard it got, or if I didn't feel like it sounded good, or if I said a lot, or uh, whatever it might be. But I was not going to quit, and I'm not going to quit even if it fails. I feel like, especially with the way things are with stats and likes and everything, it's like you could be doing this for a year, and for me, this is an example, my listeners, I could get more and more listeners, and then it could plateau at 50 listeners per episode, and it could do that for however long. And I could either look at that and say, well, this sucks, no one's listening, which isn't true, because there's 50 people listening, and those 50 people are listening for a reason. So not only would I be quitting on myself, but I'd be quitting on those people too, who like me, who are my friends, my family, who believe in me. And so quitting because of fear is no longer an option for me, because I'm over it. It doesn't matter. It is what it is. And so if it fails, it fails. But those failures are going to turn into learnings, and those learnings are going to turn into successes. And so, sure, I'm going to have little failures along the way. And I already have. I've done stuff with my podcast that I didn't like, or I've messed up, and I've just changed it the next time, or I try to figure it out. And so, it's adapting and evolving as I go along this. And so, for me, time and fear were the things holding me back. Because money is not something that can hold you back if you have a smartphone at this point. If you have an iPhone or an Android, you can record video, you can edit video, you can post that on YouTube. You can record audio, you can edit audio, you can create a podcast if you have an iPad, an iPhone, or something. You can get that out there. You don't need to buy extra equipment. Everyone thinks you have to have the best equipment, the best computer, the best camera. And I feel like that's just another excuse of like, well, I don't have this equipment, so I can't do it, blah, 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 blah. Just another excuse. You can. If you have a smartphone, you can do it. People run businesses from just their phones. And those were just two examples. YouTube channels or podcasts or audio or whatever it might be. And maybe you do want to do knitting and you want to sell stocking caps on Etsy. Great. You can still do all that with a smartphone. And then those other things that you might need. But it's not like you need thousands and thousands of dollars to get something off the ground. Start with what you have, grow it, develop it. You're going to have people who buy into it because they buy into you, and they're going to want to help you out over time. Trust me. I've seen it happen with my friends. I've seen it happen with myself. Former coworkers who have gone on to awesome things like designing clothes, designing bandanas for dogs. And so, but the two biggest things, time and fear. You've got all the time in the world. That's the worst excuse when people say they don't have time to do something. That I don't want to hear. Fear, that's a hard one to get over, because maybe you failed a lot and you don't want to get back up on that horse and keep going. And that I get. I've been there too. But at some point you have to get over it, and you have to get over yourself. Thanks for listening. I know I ramble at this point, but that's just kind of my feelings and where I'm at. Let's chat. Find me on Twitter, Instagram, at JOHNWSNYDER. Let me know. Let me know you're listening. Let me know what it is you want to learn. How can I help you? What resources do you need? What is it you need? Let me know. I can try to figure it out for you. That's the other thing I want to do with this podcast is help people. And so if you need something, let me know and let's figure it out. This is Release Rotation. I'm your host, John W. Snyder. See ya.